Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ivana Basrik and I am a transformational coach that helps especially empaths to overcome their issues quickly and efficiently. And the reason why that is possible is because we're working through these issues on the subconscious level, not on a conscious level, which means I don't teach or actually coach people how to overcome their issues. I work with them so they heal what is causing these issues in the first place, and so those issues disappear easily and effortlessly. And so today I wanted to make a video about boundaries, and especially boundaries when it comes to empaths, because I feel from working with my empath clients and from my own life too, this is a burning topic. It's a pain point for all of us empaths, and I'll go into the reasons why that is, as well as how to overcome it in this video, so stay tuned. Well, what I notice with empaths, my clients that come to me, is that the moment that we start thinking about boundaries, and this was the case in my particular situation too, is when we start feeling that we are somehow deprived, or that we're somehow always getting the less, that we are not receiving as much as we are giving, that we're always the ones who are sacrificing more, that are compromising more, and that starts to be increasingly painful until that moment where it's so painful that we actually have to do something about it. And that's where when we start to get interested about the topic of boundaries, what boundaries are, how to overcome them, how to properly set them. And I think it's actually quite sad when you think about it, that most of us don't even know what boundaries are when we go into this topic, which shows a lot about, how we were brought up and what we were taught. Some of the issues that arise or that start as a consequence of lack of boundaries, as with my clients, can be, as one of my clients had an issue with her family. Being a mother, she always felt like she was coming last, that her needs were never seen or met. When she would buy something for herself, she would feel guilty. And even like the slightest comment from her husband, even if it wasn't meant to be that way, it would be very hurtful for her, and it would make her feel even more guilty if she spent some money on herself, even though they had it. But still she felt that her child, her family always has to come first, and when she does something for herself, she would feel increasingly guilty. Or there is an example of another client of mine which works in a different country than her parents are living in. She's sending them a lot of money, she's supporting them basically, and still she gets criticized all the time by her mother, getting disrespected, even insulted on a regular basis. So these are the examples where we can see how us empaths are often abused. Our kindness, our desire to give is often abused and overused to the point where we don't feel appreciated at all for what we're giving, to the point where we overgive and we don't receive back, and to the point where even when we do receive, or even when we do stand up for ourselves, or even when we do buy, we still don't feel good about it. We don't, even worse, we feel guilty, or that we're doing something wrong or inappropriate. So where is this coming from, and why is this especially hard for empaths? So first of all, I just want to go back to the definition of the boundaries. Well, the most simplest definition of a boundary would be for us to be able to say what we want and how we feel in an assertive, expressive way. Sounds very simple, but we all know that for us empaths it can be very, 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 very difficult. And the reason why you're probably watching this video too, and a lot of people are extensively researching this topic, reading about this topic over and over again, is because it's very simple to define what we need to do. So yes, just say what you want, just put your interests first, just express how you feel. But when it comes that moment, when that moment comes that we actually have to do that, it becomes very, very uncomfortable, scary to do that, and usually we rationalize ourselves out of it before we even did it, or we convince ourselves that we don't want what we feel that we want, that we don't feel what we feel, or that it's just silly, or it doesn't make sense and we shouldn't express it at all. I had a client recently that was telling me how she gets rejected by her friends, what she feels was a rejection, or she doesn't feel that her friends reciprocate in the same way that she does things for them. For example, she would always make time for their birthday party or a party that's important for them, when it's other way around, it's not always the case. So when they say no, what she does, she rationalizes why they said no, but she doesn't really accept it. She isn't really in peace with that. So she continues to hold a grudge, and she's aware of that. So the next time when something happens, that grudge comes up again and again and again, and she's not saying anything, so it's all bottled up in her until maybe at some point she explodes, and then all of this stuff from last years comes out. And this is how a lot of us empaths are actually dealing with stuff, and this is very unhealthy for us, because we're holding that resentment, we're holding in our emotions, we're holding in what we want, we're holding in our truth, and we're not saying it because we rationalize ourselves out of it before we even said a word. And this is incredibly, incredibly hurtful. It's incredibly painful and harmful for us. And even if we don't understand, even if we do understand that, we do not necessarily know what to do about it. And this is what I want to talk about. But before that, I want to say and explain a little bit why is it so hard for empaths to actually stand up for ourselves, to say how we feel, to say what we want. Well, there are two main reasons for this. One is that we as empaths, from the very beginning, from when we are born, we feel what other people feel. So for us, it's kind of harder to distinguish where we end and when someone else begins. And this gets perpetuated, and this gets transferred to the adulthood too, which means that because we feel everything that everyone around us feels, there's this connection between us and them where we just feel unable, or it's harder for us to distinguish what is our emotions and what is their emotions. And because of that, even when we want to express emotions, it's harder for us to actually express them, because it's harder for us to actually identify them. And then the second thing, which is more important, is the issue of safety. So again, because we feel everything that others around us feel, and because we don't feel that we have this space that is us, that is just us and cannot be penetrated, because everything that is coming from outside, all the energies, they easily penetrate us, and it's like they are going directly to the core from our early age. We develop this sense of unsafety, especially, this is especially true if we grew up in an unsafe environment, where I don't mean only some very severe abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, but even the environments in which we were not understood, where we couldn't express our emotions freely, where we weren't taught how to express our emotions, where our emotions were not accepted and validated, where we were not seen and understood. This is also an unsafe environment. And after you, as a child, express your emotions for a couple of times, and you get a negative reaction from your environment, from your parents, from your caretakers, you will not express that emotion again, or you will not express your emotions at all, because it doesn't feel safe to you. And the mechanism that is being created from that is, it's unsafe for me to express myself, it's unsafe for me to say what I want and how I feel. I want you to just take a second as you're watching this video, and I want you just to think about your childhood. You can press pause after I finish this, and I want you to just close your eyes and just think about for a second some situations from your childhood where you expressed how you felt, or you expressed exactly what you wanted when it wasn't in line with what your environment wanted, and how was that met? What was the reaction from the other side? And how did you feel because of that reaction? So feel free to press pause for a second and just think about that. And I would bet that situations that came to your mind were extremely negative, that you didn't, that your expression of how you felt, I don't know, your mom wanted you to go to a birthday party, and you didn't want to go, and you said that, and there was like, no, you can't do that, you have to be a good friend, you have to go, and you were forced to go. I had a client recently that on her own birthday party, the other children were bullying her, so she ran away from them. She hid in her room under the table, and she was crying. She was 7 years old, and her mom found her, and she started to yell at her because she isn't with her friends. So she didn't ask her what was happening. She was started to yell at her because she wasn't polite, and it was her own birthday party, and she was hiding under the table. And of course, this was highly traumatizing for her, because she felt that she has to do what she's told, whether even if that is hurting her. You can imagine the effect that kind of belief that we create and we store in our subconscious mind has on our life. You have to do what is polite, what is expected, even if it's hurting you. And she's not alone. The client of mine is not alone in that, not even close. There's so many of us, especially empaths, that have those kinds of beliefs. And if you remember one situation from your childhood that this is the case, then you have probably confirmed to yourself right now that this is the case for you too. And so when you have a certain belief if you have a belief, if I do what I want, I will be punished, I will get in trouble, of course that you won't say what you want. Of course that you won't do what you want. Of course you won't express how you feel, because choosing between saying what you want and not saying what you want, saying what you want is a more unsafe option according to your subconscious mind, your subconscious beliefs, than that in the end, those are the beliefs and those are the things that actually drive your behavior, create your behavior, and control your behavior to the highest, in the highest level. So when you know that, and when you understand that it's a matter of safety, that this is where this fear is coming from, because you believe that you will get punished or get in trouble if you set those boundaries, then already things become a little bit easier, because you understand that this is not something that is irrational. It isn't something that isn't making sense. It makes perfect sense because it has a logic behind it, but it's a logic of a 7-year-old child or a 5-year-old, 10-year-old child, and it isn't applying to your environment now. However, your subconscious mind does not know that, and that is the whole problem. Your subconscious mind is still acting according to belief that is related to this situation, but that belief was created when you were a little child, and then this is the behavior that your subconscious mind is driving you to exhibit and show. So how to overcome that? Well, I will do a video. The next video that I will do will be how to talk to your subconscious mind. I'm super excited about that video, and I can't wait to make it because I think it will be so helpful to so many people. But the most easier, the most effective, the most efficient way how you can do that is through using regression therapy plus hypnosis plus different healing methods, which is what I do, and which means that we actually go back to the source where those beliefs were created. We remove them, and as one of my clients said, that's listening to, she's only listening to the welcome recording I made for her when she signed up for the program. We didn't even start with the actual program yet, and she said how amazing it is for her, because she would listen to the recording and, without consciously thinking about it, she would just, in a few days, she just started to implement what was said in the recording without even thinking about it. So when a negative emotional state would appear, she would just command her mind to accept that emotional state and to let it go, and it would actually work. And she didn't remember that consciously. It would just come to her. And this is the beauty of this work, where it's not a conscious effort. It's something that just becomes second nature to you, the same way right now it's second nature to you to not say what you want. In the future, after you change those beliefs and patterns, the second nature will be for you to actually say what you want. That will be just natural to you. And this is why this is so amazing. This is why I love to do it, and I think it's just like the best thing that you can do for yourself. But if for any reason you cannot right now work with me, then what I suggest is different ways that you show to yourself that you are actually now living in a safe environment, not to yourself but to your subconscious mind. And look around when it's that moment when you have to say what you want or how you feel. Even when you're just thinking about it, then you start to get nervous. I want you to show to your subconscious mind by looking around, by showing it very, very concretely that you are now living in a safe environment, that you can, I don't know, that you can go to the fridge and take out of the fridge what you want and you won't get in trouble for it. That you can go to the bathroom by yourself, that you can go and get food by yourself, that you can lock the doors and not let anyone in, whatever it is. Because your subconscious mind is a very basic machine, let's say, and for it, safety means food, water, shelter, so those kinds of needs, like very, very basic physical, physiological needs and emotional needs. And if you show to your subconscious mind repeatedly that this is in place, then it will start to believe you. But it has to be repeatedly. If you're not applying these methods that I mentioned earlier, where you're accessing your subconscious mind directly and changing that there, it will take a little bit longer, and that's why you need this repeated behavior. Again, I will talk more about this in the next video on how to actually apply this, but this is an amazing method to do. Additionally, if you have a situation where you do speak up and you say what you want or you say how you feel and you get a positive reaction from the other side, make sure to reinforce that, to remember that, to journal about that, to reiterate that with your subconscious mind and show to your subconscious mind over and over again. You remember, say it out loud. Remember when I expressed how I feel the last time to this person, she or he reacted so well and it went so great for us. Remember. And then with time, as you get more and more situations like that, your subconscious mind will start to believe that it is safe to want and to express what you want and what you feel. And last thing that I want to say, which is super important, and that is something that I see again with my clients all the time, and that is that when I ask them, okay, when you will set those boundaries, when you will have those boundaries in place, how will your life look like? What will be different? What will you get out of it? And what I find is that a lot of clients do not have an idea of what would setting boundaries bring to them. And this is absolute key, because if you're doing something, if you're implementing something, if you're putting effort in something, it's crucial for your brain to have a blueprint, to have a picture of what is going to happen if it implements that, especially if that picture is by default negative. So we're talking about in this video how your brain thinks, your subconscious mind thinks, oh, if I do this thing, this awful thing will happen to me, this punishment and trouble will happen to me. So it's so important to rewire that and to replace that awful picture with a positive one, to journal, talk about, make a video about, make a vision board, whatever it is, but think about all the positive aspects, all the great things that will come out of you setting boundaries for yourself. How you will feel appreciated, admired, loved, good about yourself, how people around you will start to respect you, how they will do things for you, how they will take tasks away from you that you don't want to do without you even asking, how your children will be more happy, how you will be able to be more present with your children, whatever it is. And I can confirm from my own experience 100%. So through this work, I came from a person who couldn't ask for help, who did everything alone, who never got any help from anyone without asking, or I mean, never is a strong word, but very rarely did I get that. It's not fair to say never to people who did actually help me, so I'm going to correct myself, but very rarely that is true. Whereas now I am surrounded by people who offer me help all the time, who do stuff for me without me even asking, who are just creating this beautiful environment for me without me even having to say anything. And it's absolutely perfect and beautiful and surreal and magical, and it's even hard to believe that this is my life now after what it was before. But the point is that this started to happen after I wasn't afraid to ask anymore, after I was super comfortable with asking, after I knew that asking is knew deeply in my subconscious mind and in my gut that this is something good that I'm doing for myself. So one more time, journal, make a vision board, record a recording, talk about it with friends, do whatever you need to do to get that picture crystal clear on what will you get from setting boundaries. And then when you're able to do that, repeat that, visualize that in meditation, think about that, daydream about that. So the next time when you actually have to say what you want to express how you feel, that you have that vision in mind and that consequence in mind instead of that negative that we started with. Okay, I think this is more than enough for one video. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below. I do hope I will be more active on YouTube from now on. I will do my best to do more videos and to share content like this. Let me know how you like it, and let me know how is the implementation of this going and what are some positive results that you're getting, because as you share in your comments, you're helping other empaths to understanding and knowing that boundaries is something that is really worth implementing and that will bring so much good in their own lives. And if you're interested in working with me, you also have the details below on how you can get in touch with me. I have a form on my website. You can DM me on my social media. You can book a free strategy sessions on my Facebook, on my Instagram. And yeah, just get in touch and let's talk to see how we can transform your life very quickly in a matter of weeks, where all of these things that I'm talking about can become so easy and effortless for you and just second nature to you. So thank you for watching. I hope this helped, and we'll see each other soon again. Much love.